What defines success for most people? Approval, status, wealth, relationships, recognition, belonging, genuinely perplexes a unique breed of men. Why? Because Sigma males don't just reject these pillars of societal validation, they dismantle them. While the world obsesses over chasing external benchmarks and comparing lives on a never-ending scoreboard, Sigmas operate on an entirely different frequency. These modern-day philosophers of autonomy don't merely ignore the race for acceptance. They're too busy rewriting society's playbook entirely. Where others see ladders to climb, Sigma males see chains to break, not out of rebellion, but from an ironclad understanding that true power lives within. This isn't detachment, it's a quiet revolution against conditioned desires. While crowds chase dopamine hits from likes and trophies, Sigmas harvest fulfillment from something far more potent: self-conquest. They don't boycott social hierarchies, they render them irrelevant through radical self-ownership. Status symbols become background noise. The hunger for belonging transforms into the luxury of selective alignment. But what specific illusions trap the masses yet crumble under Sigma's gaze? How does this mindset create men who thrive where others suffocate? And most crucially, what hidden truths about human potential does their indifference reveal? Today, we dissect the 6 universal obsessions that Sigma males transcend like psychological kryptonite. We'll expose why these traps ensnare 99% of people, decode the Sigma's mental blueprint for immunity, and reveal how their not caring isn't passive. It's the ultimate power move. By the end, you'll understand why Sigmas aren't just outliers, but evolutionary thinkers in a world drunk on validation. This isn't about idolizing lone wolves. It's about discovering the unfiltered truth of what happens when you stop chasing ghosts and start building empires. The Sigma male community doesn't follow trends. We expose them. Let's begin. 1. Corporate ladders. Picture a colossal skyscraper piercing the clouds, a gleaming monument to the corporate grind. Its floors are stacked high with shimmering prizes, polished titles etched on glass doors, corner offices with city views, and gold-plated nameplates that bellow, "I've conquered the game." For most, this is a battlefield of dreams. They spend decades scrambling up its slick, endless ladder. Fingers bleeding from the climb, eyes locked on the next promotion like it's a key to immortality. They live for the clink of a new business card hitting the table, the jealous sidelong glances from cubicle neighbors, or that sacred Employee of the Month parking spot glowing like a neon halo. It's a hamster wheel spinning on steroids, greased with late-night emails, fake smiles at happy hour, and the stench of office politics, where every step is powered by the drug of external validation. The higher they climb, the tighter the leash, more meetings, more ass-kissing, more soul traded for a fatter paycheck and a shinier LinkedIn flex. But then there's a Sigma male, and is not even in the building. While the masses claw at the rungs, he's already kicked the ladder over, dusted his hands, and strode into the wild unknown. He is not anti-success. Hell, he might out-earn the suits, but is not about to chain himself to someone else's blueprint. Picture him under a crimson dusk, hammering out a side hustle that's pure, unfiltered him, while the boardroom drones buzz under fluorescent flicker. For a Sigma, triumph isn't a plot collecting dust or a title that evaporates when the layoffs hit. It's the primal, unshackled freedom to captain his own fate. Autonomy isn't just his preference. It's his lifeblood, total command over his hours, his craft, his empire. Even if he's clocking a 9 to 5, he's a shadow in the corner, sidestepping the drama, the gossip, the groveling, and still crushing it harder than the loudest ladder climber. Why? Because he's not here to perch on someone else's penthouse roof. He's laying the foundation for his own kingdom, brick by quiet brick, in a wilderness where the only ceiling is the sky. 2. Constant social interaction. Imagine a hive alive with frenetic energy, a sprawling, buzzing mess of humanity darting from one shallow exchange to the next. It's a symphony of small talk clattering at the water cooler, a chorus of notifications pinging at 2 a.m., a relentless hum of cocktail chatter and TikTok trends. For most, this is a heartbeat of existence. They gulp it down like oxygen, terrified of the silence that creeps in when the crowd fades. An empty room? That's a death sentence, a mirror they are too scared to face. Parties are their altar. Group chats their lifeline. Each ping a tiny defibrillator jolt, keeping loneliness from flatlining their fragile sense of self. Who are they without the laughter at their quips, the nods at their rants, the likes on their curated feeds? The world's wired them for constant connection, a 24/7 drip of onness, where solitude isn't just alien. It's an abyss they'd rather die than fall into. Now shift your gaze. Here comes a Sigma male, cutting through that swarm like a lone wolf stalking under silver moon, his presence a quiet thunder. He doesn't need the hive's drone to feel his pulse. Solitude is his kingdom, a boundless expanse where his mind roams free and fierce. Don't mistake him for a recluse. He's no misanthrope spitting at the world. The bonds he keeps are few but ironclad, roots sunk deep into bedrock, not shallow weeds swaying with every breeze. But the endless chatter, the noise for noise sake, that's a fog he won't wade through. It muddies his signal, dulls his edge. While the masses bob in the tide of banter, his plunging into the silent depths, sharpening his thoughts like a blade on a whetstone, plotting moves that echo louder than any shout. In a culture obsessed with being heard, his power lies in thriving unseen, a rare, untamed force that doesn't just survive the quiet but commands it, turning stillness into strength. Free, material possessions. Step into the modern Colosseum, a sprawling arena of glitz and grit where the crowd bay for blood and bling. Designer threads slash like gladiators' blades, sports cars snarl like chariots tearing up the date, and Instagram posts from private jets flare like victory banners. This is a proving ground for most, a brutal scoreboard where every Rolex ticked off, every Louis Vuitton bag slung over shoulder, screams, "I'm a champion." They'll claw through 80-hour weeks, bleed their bank accounts dry, and mortgage their peace for that next big flex, all to plant a flag in the sand that says, "I'm matter, damn it." It's a war of one-upmanship, a deafening clash of credit cards and egos, where each purchase is a plea for respect, each paycheck a sacrificial offering to a faceless audience that forgets them by dawn. The roar of the crowd is their drug, but it's a high that fades fast, leaving them scrambling for the next kill. And there's a Sigma male, posted up on the Colosseum's edge, arms crossed and smirking like he knows the game's rigged. He's not anti-wealth. Plenty of Sigma stacked paper like pirates, but is not about to chain it to his identity or parade it like a peacock. To him, success isn't a garage packed with horsepower or a closet dripping in logos. It's a wild, unbridled freedom to live life on his terms. No puppet strings, no masters pulling levers. Money? It's a weapon. Fuel for his independence, ammo for his vision, not a crown to flash for clout. While the gladiators battle for the mob's fleeting cheers, he's slipped the arena entirely, strolling through a world where the only treasure worth chasing is self-ownership. That's the Sigma's checkmate. He's not just unbothered by the scoreboard. He's playing a different game, one where the prize isn't what you hold but what you refuse to be held by. He's not dodging the fight. He's transcended it, a warrior of the mind who's already won. Hey, you, the one locked into the screen right now on the Sigma Male Community Channel. This isn't some generic broadcast blasting into the void. It's a direct line to wherever you're at. If you're a Sigma, you're probably vibing hard. Maybe there's a smirk tugging at your lip, a flicker of hell yeah, as these words hit like a fist bump to your quiet defiance. You see yourself in this, don't you? That is to break free, to carve your own trail while the world scrambles for approval. If you're not a Sigma, or not sure yet, that's just as real. Maybe you're here because the usual grind's starting to chafe, because something in this raw, unfiltered energy tugs at you, whispering there's a path beyond the noise. No judgment either way. This isn't a cult or a sales pitch. It's an open door, a chance to kick the tires on these ideas, to stare down the script society's shoved in your hands and ask, why the hell am I still holding this? So what you'll play. Stick around. Dig deeper. This channel's built for seekers, rebels, and builders like you, whether you're honing your edge or just hunting for a spark to light your own fire. 4. Fitting into social norms. Society's got a rule book, and it's not optional. It's a straitjacket laced with invisible chains. Dress this way. Talk that way. Chase these checkpoints. College, cubicle, cul-de-sac. Repeat. Step off script. And you're the outcast, the glitch, the one they whisper about over lukewarm beers. Most folks grip that playbook like it's their last tether to sanity, petrified of the chaos beyond its edges. They'll cram themselves into the normal mold, clocking in, nodding at the HOA meeting, faking enthusiasm for trend they hate, just to dodge the dread of standing alone. Conformity's their armor, their oxygen. Strip it away, and they're naked, stammering excuses for why they can't just blend in, why they don't match the cookie-cutter silhouette everyone else wears so well. Enter the Sigma male, and is not just tossing that rulebook, he's shredding it, torching the scraps, and scattering the ashes without a backward glance. This isn't rebellion for the sake of chaos. It's authenticity so pure it's almost feral. He doesn't fit because he's not built to. He's too real, too jagged-edged to slide into society's polished slots. His compass isn't some mass-issue GPS. It's forged in his core, tuned to his own frequency, damn the acceptable coordinates. Maybe as a guy in ripped jeans and a beard while the suits clutch their ties, or maybe as off-grid, crafting a life that'd make the suburbs blanch. He's not loud about it, no megaphone, no manifesto, just living, breathing, being in a way that radiates power without asking permission. That unapologetic truth doesn't just mark him as different. It's a seismic force shaking the ground beneath the non-followers' feet. Sigmas don't conform, they create, rewriting the narrative with every step they take. 5. Approval from others. Ever watch people live like they are stuck in a perpetual audition, spotlight blazing, audience always watching, every line's rehearsed, every move choreographed to dodge a boo or snag a cheer. They are junkies for validation, hooked on the boss's grunt of approval, the buddy's backslap, the stranger's double tap on their latest post. Without that fix, they're unmoored, drifting in a sea of what if they hate me. A harsh word cuts like a blade, a cold shoulder's a guillotine. It's a high-wire act with no net, teetering, twisting, pleading for the crowd to keep clapping, because a silent theater means they failed, means they're nothing. The script shifts daily, and they're exhausted, but they can't quit. They don't know who they'd be without the roar. Then there's a Sigma male, rooted like a granite cliff against a hurricane, waves of opinion smashing uselessly at his base. He's not chasing claps because his worth isn't up for vote. Self-approval's his bedrock, a well that never runs dry. Gossip rolls off him like rain on stone. Critics are just flies buzzing past. He's not aloof or heartless. He'll fight for what matters, but is not about to grovel for a gold star from anyone. That unshakable core? It's freedom, pure and hard-won, the kind that lets him pick his wars, hold his line, and carve his path without a glance over his shoulder. Approval's a collar he snapped long ago, and in its place, he's built something rarer, a presence so solid it doesn't need an echo to stand tall. Sigmas don't beg for praise. They command respect by existing. 6. Social status and popularity. Welcome to the circus of status, a dazzling, deafening sprawl of flashing lights, velvet ropes, and follower counts ticking like a slot machine. Most folks are the acrobats, leaping through flaming hoops for a gas from the stands. They'll lease a whip they can't pay for, pose on chartered jets they don't own, anything to keep the spotlight pinned and the likes pouring in like cheap wine. It's a starved scramble. Be the loudest, the flashiest, the one everyone's buzzing about, even if it's just for a heartbeat. Popularity's their throne, brittle as cracked porcelain, and they'll slash their piece to shard to keep it from toppling, because without the crowd's gaze, they're invisible, erased. The tent never folds. There's always a brighter act, a higher tightrope, a louder cheer to chase. And there's a Sigma male, posted up beyond the big top, kicking back with a drink and a grin while the circus spins itself dizzy. He's not dodging the game because he's afraid to lose. He just doesn't see the point in jumping through hoops for a prize that's all glitter, no gold. Status? It's a funhouse mirror, warping reality. He'd rather earn respect with calluses and conviction than rent it with flash and fanfare. His value's a citadel, forged from his own steel, not some borrowed applause that fades with the next act. That distance isn't retreat, it's propulsion, rocketing him toward a purpose the crowd can't fathom. While they juggle for the spotlight, he's glowing with a fire that doesn't need an audience to burn. Sigmas don't perform, they endure, shining steady in a world obsessed with flicker. So we arrive at the truth. 6 societal obsessions: status, approval, wealth, relationships, recognition, belonging, that Sigma males treat like smoke in the wind. Not because they are rebels without cause, but because they mastered a radical truth. What most chase is success is often slavery in disguise. While the world kneels at the altar of external validation, Sigmas build inner empires. They don't let go of these things. They see through them, recognizing status as a costume, approval as a leash, and belonging as a cage gilded with compromise. Here's your litmus test. Are you trading days for dopamine hits, likes, promotions, hollow nod from strangers, or are you mining meaning from your own code? The Sigma's power isn't in rejection, but redefinition. They don't hate money. They just won't sell their soul for it. They don't scorn connection. They refuse to beg for it. The difference? One path chains you to others' expectations. The other crowns you sovereign of your existence. This isn't a lifestyle. It's a wake-up call. Every second spent craving what doesn't matter is stolen from what could. So I'll ask plainly, what's your currency? The counterfeit approval of the masses, or the unshakable certainty that you're building something that can't be tallied on society's bankrupt scoreboard? If this sparks something in you, that quiet voice saying, I'm done with the act, then you're already one of us. Smash that subscribe button and join the Sigma male community, where we don't preach answers, we detonate the questions that free you. Because in the end, the greatest rebellion isn't saying no to the world. It's whispering yes to the version of yourself that needs no permission to thrive. Stay relentless. We see you.